Classic League Podcast time! Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 289 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me, as always. Dustin, what's going on, man?
Not much. Working the shoulders.
So I got some feedback about our intro.
Okay.
My friend Bailey is unimpressed with my movements and that 10 seconds. I don't know what to tell her. She doesn't even like video games, so I'm just happy she listens to any bit of it. But yeah, don't you think she needs to? I got to put her on blast publicly. She needs to be more constructive with her criticism.
Yeah.
Or her feedback. That's also a reference to Flight of the Conchords. That's a line in one of their songs. And when we were roommates years ago, that was one of our favorite shows to watch. We'd have a buzz and watch Flight of the Conchords and laugh. It was awesome. So, yeah, shout out to our friends that are disappointed in our stereotypically white intro dances. So, yeah, well, Dustin, it's kind of same old for you, but what have you been doing the last week? Anything fun before we jump into video game chat?
So testing has wound down and ended.
Okay.
And it has been like, it went from like crazy to like 50 years after the zombie apocalypse quiet.
Like you see little bunnies around, you're like, oh my God, there is life.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, that's good that you had I guess, yeah, it is that time of the year. Oh my God, another school year gone.
Yeah.
When's your wife get time off? When's her last day?
I think it is like the last week of May.
Oh, you guys go that long? Okay, that's more.
Yeah.
Ohio is crazy. It ends super early now, the school years. When I was going to school, we ended like the beginning of June, even in college, which... The most heartbreaking thing about Ohio University moving from quarters to semesters is that the second semester ends in May. And the most fun time of OU was made it like the month of May, and it's gone now. There were these, it's broken up into what they call greens. It's like a quadrant. There's a South Green, an East Green, a West Green. It's kind of all around campus, and that's where students generally live if they're in the dorms or whatnot. So South Green had these 4 big dorms, and then behind it were these other like smaller dorms. But these 4 big dorms took up a huge area and had this big sprawling lawn in front of them. Mm-hmm. And they installed volleyball courts. So we called it South Beach because it was as soon as the weather broke, it was nothing but girls in bikinis. People like taking their solo cups of mixed drinks outside, playing volleyball. The sun was like awesome and gorgeous, and they took that away. It's heartbreaking. It's not even worth going to school anymore. Like if you don't get spring at OU, like what are you doing? And always plenty of fun in the summer and in the fall and winter and all that. But man, I mean, you want to talk about your endorphins just like exploding. You're 20 years old. There's nothing but like pretty girls around. You're skipping class. It's just the greatest time of my life. So, yeah, as far as fun stuff from the last week, I had things I wanted to talk about, and I totally forget about them now.
Yeah.
I figured out...
That happens every time.
Figured out something neat with my guitar amp, but that's not really going to be that interesting. Unless I showed like an A and B comparison sort of a thing. I felt like I did something neat over the weekend, but apparently... Oh, the comedy show that I said I was going to last week that my buddy Mike Myers is going to... Mm-hmm. Oh my God, he killed it. Like, it was amazing. So, bravo to him. But yeah, otherwise I've had a really busy week, but a good week, so really can't complain about much. So yeah, I guess, Dustin, let's talk about some gaming news. We have one quick announcement. Our YouTube channel has hit a lifetime total of 8 million views.
8 million.
8 million. So we're definitely proud of that. It's only 8 videos that take up 98% of those views, but whatever, it still counts. I'm still hoping that someday that Plants vs. Zombies video hit 1 million. It's tracking that way. Maybe someday. But yeah, I guess for video game news, there's something breaking right now. It just happened before we went live, and Psyonix, the company that made Rocket League, has been acquired by Epic Games. And
oh man,
this is a big deal. It is breaking, so I don't have a lot of details. It was trending on Twitter, and there's not a lot, but I'll kind of skim through the GameSpot article here. It says Rocket League developer Psyonix has announced that it is joining the Epic family with an acquisition expected to close late in May or early June. In an FAQ, the studio sought to reassure current Rocket League fans that nothing will change about their day-to-day enjoyment of the popular game. In the short term, it says nothing about the game will change in the short term. There's a little caveat there. It is still moving forward with the update roadmap and plans to continue, quote, for as long as you'll have us, end quote. In the long term, Psyonix says, oh, thanks, GameSpot. Yes, I love video games. Stop the pop-ups. There's a special place in hell for websites that insist on pop-ups that is adjacent to the people that still do robocalls. Like,
yep. Oh yeah.
Fuck off. So, anyways, I do like GameSpot, but I know they got to make money, but I really hate it. Anyways, for as long as they'll have us in the long term, Psyonix says it does plan to bring the game to the Epic Store and use the leverage granted by the acquisition to, quote, grow the game in ways we couldn't do on our own before, end quote. That just feels like a Rolodex of, like, acquisition jargon, like, positive spin, grow the game in ways we couldn't do before.
Yeah.
Part of that could mean changes to esports, which Rocket League has become known for. Psyonix says that this increases our potential to reach. This increases our potential reach and resources. It also hints that it could be that it could start to explain future esports plans next month at its Rocket League Championship Series that'll run June 21st to 23rd. Finally, Psyonix says that it's the same team we've always been, suggesting that layoffs or other staff rearrangement isn't planned in the immediate future. They really should have italicized, underlined, asterisk, immediate future. There's a lot of corporate doublespeak in here. But, the Rocket League guys are now not rich. They are super rich, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They made buku bucks, continue to make buku bucks off that game. Now they got another big giant chunk. So I still love Rocket League. You know that I've had an adversarial relationship with the other players, but I dearly love the game. I'm a gold rank player on PC, which is not good. It's not terrible, but it's not good. But despite that, I love it. Like, there's platinum, I think, and diamond and double platinum and all that kind of stuff. I can't get there. I blame my other teammates. I blame the algorithm for matching me up with shitheads that are terrible. So I'm like a very typical gamer, I guess. The only reason I mean, you can give some input, but you don't play Rocket League, and I'm into digital only games, so obviously you're out.
So do the 100-hour work week start next week?
It must, right? Yeah. There's been a lot of that in the news lately. It's not in our show notes this week, but man, this whole issue that gaming in general has with crunch and these abusive labor tactics is crazy. I'm sure that you would agree, we are not union guys. I like really dislike the concept of unions. However, I don't know what else the game developers can do at these major studios. They are, At some point, the companies are not acting in the best interest of their employees, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
So at some point, something needs to be done to protect these people's livelihoods. Like, we're not talking 50-hour work weeks or anything like that. Like, the stories are absolutely brutal, and that you're fired if you bring it up, and there's promises of lucrative bonuses some places, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
And, if you're living in San Francisco where you can make 75 grand a year, and that means you're house poor, which is crazy. If you make 75 grand a year where I live, you got your own house, like you probably have no debt, like you're living great.
You're in a good spot.
75 grand in San Francisco means you're putting in 100-hour work weeks and you have 5 roommates.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds a little hyperbolic, but it's really not, And
the worst part is you're in San Francisco.
Yeah. It's wild that you're more likely to step in human shit than dog shit on the sidewalk. So
yeah.
There was I think it was Daily Tech News Show. I was listening to an article. There was like 28,000 reports of human feces, like reported incidents on the sidewalk in 2018, up from 5,000 over 2017.
Oh my gosh.
You hear the like guys on the Bombcast joke about it and whatnot, but like they're not joking.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of those little things that they set up in, was it in Paris or is it in Venice? But I think it was Paris, that they have those like pee boxes. So like tourists are, taking like a boat cruise and they see guys pissing into the equivalent of a trash can.
Oh yeah.
Okay. God bless the Midwest, I suppose. Like, jeez. But it's really sad to hear these stories. There was the rumor that there was going to be a walkout at Riot.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the God, who did Mortal Kombat? I always want to say Niantic, but that's the NetherRealms. Yeah, Niantic's the Pokemon people. Yeah, NetherRealms. You hear people going on record saying, "I don't care if I never get to work in the games industry again. This is what happened to me." Like putting a name to it. It's not an anonymous source. You hear it at Epic, like, of course, this is why you brought up the Rocket League 100-hour work weeks thing, because all of those games as a service issues are that people are impressed with how much Fortnite updates everything. And then you come to find out, oh, well, that's how they're getting it done. They're abusing their workforce. Like that it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we will cover it a little bit. No sources. We don't have anything in the show notes. It's all secondhand. I don't know what. I'm rambling a bit. I'm not letting you kind of interject, but I don't know. Like you're starting to hear this all the time, very frequently. They're clearly not one-offs. I don't know. What's your reaction? Like, do you feel even dirty like buying games because you're almost supporting this stuff?
Not really, but like I don't feel complicit. But at the same time, I do realize something has to change.
Yeah,
something somewhere does. Even if it's going back to an old $60 game where you pick up an actual physical copy and you have to pay for it instead of playing a free game where you're like literally killing people.
Yeah, for the microtransactions and updates or whatever, like the business model is having clearly some major unintended consequences to try to keep up with the Joneses. Like there's this rat race for change falling out of people's pockets. Honestly, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's sad. So, shout out to all the game developers that broke their back so that we could play some good games. I mean, what if you went through crunch and the game was terrible and it felt like it was actually for nothing? I mean, it would feel for nothing even if it was like an acclaimed game.
Yeah. They could like do a like, hey, spend $60 and you can play Fortnite forever.
Yeah, like the Warframe model.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I'm not, sorry, not Warframe. Smite.
Yes.
Smite had that like $30 and you get lifetime of all the updates and all the characters or whatever.
Yeah. Like, hey, if you really have a problem with these devs being worked half to death, then like pony up.
I can understand from a corporate boardroom perspective the anxiety about scaling back game scope,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always that fear of not being the one that is able to present the best or latest and greatest or whatnot. And I do think that people that play video games would notice a scaled back industry, but I don't think that we would leave the industry. I think that people that play games would still play games, even if the AAA quote unquote games were smaller. Like why not have Hellblade be that's an indie AAA game? Why not that just be a AAA game? I think plenty of people would be okay with that.
Yeah.
I think the anxiety of having, I don't know, the rat race of so many people being stuck in these horrible situations, to have something to put on a box that says the game is so big or the graphics are so good or whatnot. I don't know. I guess I just struggle with the idea that if you don't get into that race, that people would stop buying games or stop enjoying them. I don't think that would happen, but it feels like the game companies are scared that that's what would happen, that their audience would leave if they did scale back. I don't know. Yeah, do you have? I guess I had more to say than I expected.
Yeah, I agree, but I understand why they would be afraid. But Fortnite's not going anywhere. Like they can scale back and say, like, hey, you know what, we screwed up.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there, and say this is the new release schedule of the seasons, and this is why.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, hey, we understand it's not good for our company. It's not good for us in the long term. And then if you have a lot of turnover from a studio, it's not good for the people that play the games, because you're not going to have the same team working on the game, and it does feel manipulative. You hear lots of stories. Everyone always says developers, but it's not just developers. It's the artists, it's the QA testers. So, I mean, especially like the QA testers, you have to feel really bad for, because they're paid, peanuts to work, $10 an hour to work 80 hours a week, getting stuck playing a broken game that they're trying to give feedback on so that eventually it'll get good. But it's not like if you're a game tester, you sit down and you're just playing a final product to make sure that like it is flawless.
Right.
I don't know. My heart just goes out to the entire like meat grinder that industry has turned into, and obviously we love video games. We like talking about them. It's a very fun industry to follow. There's so much creativity in it, and there's so many things that happen and change. There's good drama. There's heartfelt stories, and it's just heartbreaking to hear about these things going so poorly for the people that work in the industry that make things that we love so much.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, so Rocket League, get ready to crunch, I guess.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, that would send a shiver down my spine if I was like a QA tester over there. Yeah, so I guess speaking of divisive things, Dustin, there's some more divisive stuff to talk about. So let's get into the next bit of news.
Holy Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailers, Batman. It dropped. It dropped like an anvil.
It did.
It broke Twitter. Oh my gosh.
That's a great way to put it. So I'm going to admit something. I think Jim Carrey looks fantastic. And I didn't hate the trailer. I feel like I'm being contrarian or something. Like, it seemed totally fine. Like, it looked like Michael Bay did a video game movie, so he threw out a bunch of stuff that matters to the hardcore fans, but whatever, I guess. Gary Whitta was really funny. I saw someone retweet something he did. He said, finally Sonic fans get the movie they deserve. He hates Sonic. So I'll just put that out there. I saw the rage on Twitter, watched the trailer, did not understand. It looked harmlessly fine. But what was your reaction?
I think Sonic, when he's standing still, looks really weird. Like when he's moving, he looks fine.
Yes.
But otherwise, I'm really stoked to have Ace Ventura back. Like he full on looks like he's doing Ace Ventura.
I thought the same thing, and the jokes that he had in the trailer are annoying and obvious and like low hanging fruit jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But 12-year-old me would have been like, yes, yes. That's great.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. What's your name? Nobody cares. And I like that actor, whoever was that sergeant. He's always like a bad guy in B movies.
Yeah.
He actually looks like my neighbor, so I always want to call him Bruce, but that's not his name.
Something McDonough, I think.
Okay. James McDonough, maybe. You've definitely seen the guy before. He's been a villain, a good villain. And like movies that are not like blockbuster, but more like a John Wick level. Even though John Wick has been wildly successful, it definitely was a low budget production that made it great. And he's in those kind of movies. Okay, so obviously you're gonna take Sully. He likes Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
He loves playing Sonic.
I showed him the trailer, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to see that."
Well, of course.
Yeah. So.
I heard a lot of complaints about Sonic having teeth.
Yes.
It seemed to really bother some people.
Yeah. But this is like it has been the thing to do. Like people hate on Sonic property. That's it.
Yes. I think my favorite part of the whole fiasco of the Sonic trailer dropping on Twitter was it got Super Mario Brothers trending on Twitter.
Yes. Yes.
This doesn't look nearly as egregious of a rework of the lore as the Mario movie was, but I don't know. I guess maybe I had that reverse hype thing where I expected it to be so bad. And then I saw it and I'm like, this is like totally fine.
Yeah.
Sonic's like, oh, nice try again. And Jim Carrey's like, that's a great idea. I will. And another cool, like, vehicle pops out of the old vehicle. And I'm like, this is.
It totally looks like the bat cycle that came out of the tumbler and
the tumbler. Yeah. It's exactly what I thought. It's like, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
every hero has a genesis. That's awesome. That's gold.
Super dumb, super great.
Yeah.
Like so on the nose. I loved how like it felt ironic, the people I don't think were really mad, but they're like every villain has a Mega Drive or something like that. There's all the European tweets that were like, "Hey, wait a minute." It had the Sega logo at the beginning. I don't know. Like Sonic's an alien and has magical fur that he keeps leaving around, I guess. Like, yeah, that sounds dumb. Who cares?
Yeah.
I hope it makes a shitload of money and there's a Smurfs 2 kind of scenario where people are going, I can't believe they're making more of these.
The sequel, he'll be fighting Robotnik, or will it be Eggman? We'll see.
Great question. Wait, okay, now Robotnik is Japan and Eggman's US?
Eggman is Japan.
Eggman's Japan. We're Robotnik.
Now I think it's Eggman everywhere.
Now it's all Eggman. Okay.
Yeah, all Eggman all the time.
All right. I like Robotnik better.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be like a season 2 of Daredevil, where everybody hated that, like the mask that he had. So the first thing that happens is the mask gets destroyed.
Okay. I did make it through season 1 of Daredevil, so I'm so mad you spoiled that for me.
He changes. Okay, so to give you an idea, he finally gets a suit, and the first episode of season 2, it gets destroyed, and he changes his mask, but I didn't notice.
So did they draw attention to it? How did you ultimately realize that happened?
I didn't realize that the mask changed until I saw it on like Twitter or I heard it in a podcast or something.
Okay.
It's like, they changed the mask, really? Oh, that's weird. I thought they just like built him a new one because he got shot in the head or something. All right.
Sure.
But anyway, I think Robotnik will like shoot him with a ray or something, and he'll like turn into something that looks better to please people who say he doesn't look good.
Oh, okay. They might, yeah. I saw a few reworks where people like gave him skinnier, longer legs and more of like a rounder, tiny body.
Bigger eyes.
And, yeah, and it does look. I mean, yeah, it does. You're right. It could have looked better from a proportion standpoint, but I mean, who? It looks totally just inoffensively fine.
Yeah.
I really expected something horrible. I will say though that some of the way that the first third of that trailer was shot, it looked like an Adi Shankar kind of a thing. Like it looked like hey, I'm doing a short, 10-minute video, like fan service thing. And not like just the fact that what I mean by that is his like level of production with these like short videos he makes online, or like the Nathan Drake style thing that came out.
Oh yeah,
with the Nate Fillion, it kind of had that lower budget feel to it, which I don't know, maybe made me a little bit more endeared to it. Like, okay, they didn't put $100 million into Sonic and then put this out. Like,
yeah,
they got Cyclops and Jim Carrey and a CGI team to put together Sonic. Like,
yeah, a South Korean sweatshop CGI team.
yeah, like the old Filmation cartoons and all that. So Sonic, I don't know. I guess I'm glad that you weren't offended by it either, because it seemed totally harmless to me.
Yeah. I watched it and I was like, dude, I'm totally taking Sully to see this.
Oh, yeah. If I was in I couldn't wait to show him that you were taking him to that movie. I mean, Ninja Turtles 2 was terrible if you think about it. Like, it's a dumb movie. It's not nearly as good as this seems like a Ninja Turtles 2. Yeah. Totally fine. Like, I don't know.
Oh, and Gangster's Paradise.
What was really funny, and what also disappointed me, was on the Bombcast, Ben Pack said something like, I'll be honest, I knew Amish Paradise before I knew Gangster's Paradise. And I'm like, how'd nobody chime in and be like, well, did you know that it's Pastime Paradise from Stevie Wonder? Like come on, guys, like show them where the song really came from. If anybody's not ever heard it, go to Stevie Wonder and listen to, it's off his best album, Songs in the Key of Life. Mm-hmm. And it's called Pastime Paradise, and it is the exact same beat and melody. Except for where it says, we've been spending most of our lives. Coolio changed it to Gangster's Paradise, and Stevie Wonder changed it to, or had it originally as Pastime Paradise. So it was very funny when Coolio was trying to sue Weird Al over the parody. I'm sure the Coolio licensed the song, but it was kind of like slow your roll, dude. Like, you didn't even change the melody. I love Coolio, but come on. All right. Well, Dustin, why don't you blow our minds here? This was something wild.
Shovel Knight is actually 3D.
It's
pretty cool.
It's extremely cool. I love this.
Yeah. The guys who do the crap, I can't think of their YouTube channel. They break the camera out and just look around the game. Yeah. They did this with Shovel Knight, and they found out it's 3D. Like, all of the assets are like deep. Like, there's several layers deep.
Yeah, and Yacht Club provided the camera and gave them like this look inside, which was really cool. Like, they helped him with it, which I thought was neat. Yeah, it's almost like, think about layering a lot of sheets of cardboard to make the game, so you can separate them if you need to. It was really interesting listening to the one of the developers that was interviewed for the video. Was he actually said that fixing bugs was easier in this 3D model because they would have an easier time seeing where the issue was happening versus in a 2D plane, there was a lot of guesswork and it was all kind of, I don't know, put together almost like when you're layering, you know, you have Photoshop and you've got layers. When you finish the photo and you flatten it, I was like, oh my God. How freaking clever was the way they did this.
Like the part where they were showing the bubbles in the flasks.
I did not see that because I hopped around a bit because it was like a 13-minute video and I had a straight 10-hour workday, had to come home, eat, and check out the news. So, yeah, I did not get to see the bubble part. So, describe that to us.
It's basically just a flat image that is scrolling. It scrolls to the bottom. It comes back to or I guess it's going up. And then when it hits the top, it kind of goes back down and scrolls back up. But it's basically behind the entire level. It's just, you can see it behind the flasks.
Oh, that's wild. Again, clever. I think that's my favorite. I think that's why this video is so jaw-dropping to me, is it's very clever.
Mm-hmm. And I forgot how good that soundtrack is.
Jake Kaufman is unreal.
Yeah.
That soundtrack is something else. Dude, that Smash Brothers update is supposed to be coming this summer, I think. Where it's the last update for Shovel Knight, and it's going to be Smash Brothers, but inside of Shovel Knight, and it's all the Shovel Knight characters in this brawl game.
That's awesome.
We covered it. We talked about it 1 week on the show, but that was like probably a year ago. So that's about to drop.
Dude, that's
fun.
Awesome. Yeah, man, Yacht Club Games. These guys know what they're doing.
They have endeared themselves, rightfully so. I would love to hear them talk about Crunch, and in my mind, because they're such a darling that they haven't had to enforce those kinds of things where it's like gun to your head. You don't have to work this, but I'm going to pull the trigger if you don't. Based on the stories you hear, that's how it feels. And I guess to be clear, like there are plenty of examples of people that work at some of these game companies that do state that was not their experience. So I guess to be fair, like to the other side, there are people that are not abused that way at every single game company and game studio.
Yeah.
But it's brought up with such frequency, it certainly feels like that's the case. So it's easy to lose perspective that not all game companies are inherently evil and treat their employees so terribly.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine being like 22, 23, graduating college, you get your job at Epic Games? You don't know any better, and so you'll just so you can work at Epic, just get taken advantage of. Like, that sucks. I really like. I would much rather see unionization in the games industry versus government regulation. I don't want either of them to happen.
Yeah.
But if there's a super strong union, at least you can still have independents that operate outside of it. Just like independent films that don't use like SAG and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it was government regulation, everyone would get screwed.
Yeah.
But they don't get it under control. It's going to be regulated by the government. Just like the loot boxes. It's the same thing where it's like, if you can't take care of this yourself, screw you, we're going to punish everybody.
Yeah. Then everybody suffers.
Yep.
Even the fans.
Yep. We're just, every game is going to be gray. That's just...
Yeah. Then every game will have an easy mode.
Yes, you will be fined if you don't. Achievements will be destroyed. Challenge will be gone. It'll be illegal to make a fun game. Ultimately, that's what'll happen.
Yeah. Then that's what the next civil war will be fought by indie developers. Fighting.
Sign me up for them. Yeah. Yes. They're fighting for their right to work as long as they damn well please. Yeah. But Shovel Knight, like, super clever, man. Yacht Club Games is something else. I cannot wait to see what they roll out next. Plus, I mean, if you bought Shovel Knight, the amount of free updates they've given is staggering. They've easily given you a $100 game for $15.
Yeah.
So
the game's probably at least doubled in amount of things to play.
Oh, that would
Tripled?
be easily, because they put in two or three full campaigns. It's the same levels, but they're reworked and they have different tweaks because there's a different play style, whether you're Plague Knight or whatever. It's just that is one argument. Now, granted, that is an anomaly, but if you had it on physical, you couldn't just automatically get these, Dustin.
Yeah, you have to wait for everything to release, like the Cuphead guys,
and then get it. Yep. Oh, I cannot wait for that Cuphead vinyl. This is, I think, third or fourth quarter. So, all right, cool. It's interesting that you brought up the next bit of news. Microsoft joins Apple and Amazon. After their earnings report, they're now valued as a $1 trillion company.
Yep.
Is it just because, like, what made you want to put this in our show notes? Was it just because there's such a big game-focused company with their software right now?
Yeah, just because it's
Microsoft.
Microsoft, and
it's a Chinese Microsoft is the Chinese office.
Oh my goodness! And I just thought it was interesting.
It definitely is. It's
all that Zune cash they're raking in.
Yeah, right. They finally spending it on something. They rolled out the Xbox division, and here we are. $1 trillion company.
This is just kind of like people always say, like, oh, PS4 is outselling the Xbox One. Microsoft is done. They're going to get out of the games market. That kind of stuff. Like, they are making so much money. Now,
their cloud service is incredible. Azure has been an enormous success for them. Mm-hmm. Their subscription model for Office 365 is clearly working extremely well. They've done some really nice things with OEMs as far as giving them flexibility with Windows 10. The free upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 clearly made a big impact on them. Because this is a valuation from a market, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like they got $1 trillion in the bank, although they got an ungodly amount of cash. But it's because of things like that that give them those sorts of numbers where they have such a market dominance from a software perspective. It's not just the games division, but it was interesting. It looked like, before they put Phil Spencer in charge, there were the rumors that Satya Nadella was going to maybe jettison the Xbox branding or totally move it to a separate entity versus keeping it under the same umbrella. And ever since Phil Spencer's really got there, I'm speaking from my own knowledge. Maybe it's just maybe I'm wrong here, so I just want to give a disclaimer. But it feels like, ever since the guy that left for Zynga, Don Matrick or whatever, it feels like ever since he left, and they went from Xbox One being this media box to they just want to provide the best services box. It feels like Phil Spencer's really put them in a direction that has everybody really envious. It's almost like the moves that they made got Google to say, okay, we can do this. There's clearly a market for it. And it has the most hardcore Sony fans going, geez, Sony's got some catching up to do. Like, they clearly won whatever, sold the most units in this particular game generation. But I mean, if you look at the trajectory of the companies right now, Microsoft looks in a way better position, at least publicly, to just kill it right out of the box when they launch all this new stuff, where everyone's wondering, like, so what's Sony gonna do? Like, PlayStation Now never took off, so is that service not quite good enough? It looks like Xbox, the rumors are going to be that the next physical box one of them will be substantially more powerful than the PS5, which was touted as no load times and super powerful. So I don't know. Right now, the perception from where I'm sitting makes it look like Xbox is like chalk this generation up as a loss. They didn't lose money, but they are moving in a direction that is really enticing and feels more consumer friendly than what Xbox or what PlayStation and Sony are putting out right now. Do you have the same gut sense, or?
Yeah, I am a little worried that they're doing the PlayStation 2 all over again. Like the PlayStation 2 sold so incredibly well, they kind of got high on their own fumes. And
Sure.
now then they went for the PS3 and they're like, yeah, we included this chip architecture that nobody wants to develop for, and it's $600, but I think it was Kasserai who famously said, like, you will work 2 jobs to afford this system.
Okay. Well, you want to talk about going back to crunch, like in just that deep-seated mentality. The I guess that's a good point. They're clearly not going to make that kind of a misstep.
Probably.
Because they've mentioned that I think that they said that PS4 games should just natively run on the PS5. Am I wrong? That's the impression I've gotten from the press. I don't know if I'm 100% right on that, but at least that's what it feels like it's being conveyed. If that's the case, they clearly are. Oh, you know what? That very first fat PS3 also had all that backwards compatibility, and then they stripped it out.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Cerny was out there with that Wired article that we talked about, saying that for what you get, it'll be a great price. So it still sounds like they're probably going to hit that $500 or $600 price point, but you're going to have a hell of a machine.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, God, $600, you could build a really decent AMD machine. You can get one of the mid-tier Ryzen chips. You can get a mid-tier AMD graphics card. You don't have to get all the bells and whistles on your motherboard. You can get a 450-watt power supply. You can get a cheap SSD and some, spinning disk storage and a cheap case, and you can build a nice PC for $50 or for $500 or $600 for $50. I'm not Green Ham Gaming. He always does fun stuff. The guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got a Core 2 Duo. I'm going to try to play 4K games. Like, okay, that's fun. But you know what I mean? Like at $600, boy, it makes a PC really tempting because Microsoft is out there going, oh, well, you can get your Game Pass on that $600 PC the same as you can on the Xbox. And if you buy a first-party game on the Xbox, guess what? We'll give it to you on PC too. So if they have that kind of a price point, I'd be nervous about their success rate for savvy consumers, I guess. Although, man, the first-party titles in the PS4 this generation were really strong compared to what Xbox put out. Who knows? This is fun. And Microsoft is worth a shit ton of money. So,
yes.
That's the end of that. That's the moral of the story. Dustin, you also found another article on Kotaku that had Breath of the Wild having a first-person mod, and this looks really neat. It looks like Fallout, but Zelda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't get in the video. I didn't get to any of the action parts, but it's apparently they made it for the CMU emulation for the Switch.
Yep.
And they said that you could run it on the Switch, but I'm sure you have to have a
broken or a hacked Switch or whatever.
Hack Switch.
And I'm wondering if there's that 3D thing coming out where you can play technically all of Breath of the Wild holding cardboard up to your face, and their little VR version. I was wondering if I'd be curious if any sort of code leaked out which allowed for this to happen, or if it was totally independent that someone figured this out. It's neat that this exists. I would never want to play it that way. There's something about seeing Link that I really like, but the concept of it is totally cool. Would you play through a Zelda first person? I think I'd have a hard time with it.
Yeah, it'd be like Skyrim.
Yeah, but Skyrim sucks. Shots fired. It's been 7 years. It's been $2. I've still never bought it.
One of these days.
It's never going to happen. I don't know what it is about Bethesda games. I just am so resistant to. I just don't like it. I've played some ESO.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's just not good. There's something about like the slow swings, like that slow chop for attacking. I hate. I hate it. I don't like magic spells in games very much. Like in Diablo, I want to fire stuff. I don't want to cast spells. So the Fusro Da or whatever, those mechanics just don't. They don't do it for me. I don't know.
You're gonna retire, and you're gonna play literally every video game in existence, and you're gonna get to Skyrim.
I might just end it. Like I'll go to the Dr. Kevorkian recipe book. Hire an Uber driver to execute me, and we'll be good to go. Like, why are you going? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, the only thing I have left is Skyrim. End it. I'm obviously done. Nah. Yeah, I don't know why Bethesda games just really turned me off the few times I've given them a try. You know, I've installed New Vegas, walked around, didn't like it. I've tried to watch Zarek play Fallout 4. I didn't like it. Nothing against Zarek. I just was not interested in watching him play. That game. I enjoyed listening to you talk about Skyrim because you just wanted to break it.
Yes.
You know, level 100 before you touch the first main quest.
Yeah.
Didn't you get like all like white, like level 100 armor or something? Like you did something that was really bizarre, and you had only done a main quest or two. You had something like that years ago.
Yeah, I put hundreds of hours into it, and I had like dragon bone armor and the bad people armor. It's slightly stronger than the dragon armor. Dalmir? I can't remember. Yeah, I maxed out like my blade and sneak and my archery, and I'd never touched the main quest.
Yeah, like okay, but you know me. That's not my. I really oppose making my own fun in video games. Like, if I have to make my own fun, we're done. I'm moving on to the next. So, not that there's anything wrong with liking it. I don't think that you're a dirty person, Dustin, for being able to make your own fun. You're just more creative than I am. I need to be led. So, the last article that you had picked out this week, great articles again this week, was that there's a game called The Dark Room that was available on Switch, and the developer put a little trick in there that if you have a USB keyboard hooked up to your Switch, and you press like the tilde or something simple like that, then you're able to enter into a text editor. So you could theoretically make apps inside of the Switch. Yeah. Which is really clever and neat. According to the developer, the intention of the Dark Room to have this feature was to help kids realize that they can affect a video game at a programming level. In the article, he had a quote that was something like, you can only draw lines or change the text. There's really not much you could do. But the fact that there was a text editor that could theoretically lead to app development inside of the Switch, Nintendo, it seemed like within hours, the same day this guy went public with this nugget, pulled it from the eShop.
Yeah.
It sounds like the guy or the company's being very apologetic, and they're trying to get the game back up. I'm sure they'll have some sort of a patch or a fix and pay they'll go sit in timeout for 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Put on the dunce cap.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But that's another one where it's like, oh, that's such a clever, cool thing. I could totally see why Nintendo's like,
yeah,
absolutely not. That's too much system control. Because I said it's Ruby on Rails, which is the programming environment or the programming language that basically initiates when you're able to plug your Switch in. And I've recruited professionally a lot of IT positions, and Ruby on Rails is something that I've seen a lot. So I can understand having a really robust programming language, having a really deep level of access on a system being an absolute no-no from Nintendo's perspective. I get it. It seems a little innocent, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, of course, this guy didn't mean anything by it. He just wanted to. It was kind of a cool thing, and he wanted to let kids know, like you said. And he even said that he and another guy were like screwing around with it, and there was nothing malicious that they could do. Like even if they could break out of the game and do something inside the Switch, there was nothing that they could get to that would allow you to like crack it or anything. So,
Sure. Do you think there's any chance that Nintendo then would, or maybe they're just trying to verify it and like putting us through its courses? Like, no, they're not going to allow this.
no, I think they're gonna. If it ever comes back, it's gonna be minus this.
Yeah. It's one of those things where that's cool of the developer. I totally understand the corporate side of it.
Yeah, he should have waited like 3 years and then said something.
Or let it be naturally found.
Yeah.
Or 3 years, whichever happens first.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Dark Room. It's no longer available on Switch, so keep an eye out for it in the news. See if it ever comes back. That'll be interesting. What changes are made if it does. So I got two things to confirm, Dustin. Bradley is Tecmo Balls.
Okay.
He sent us a couple of messages on Instagram today, and that 12 whatever memories, the 12 gracious memories, that Stone Temple Pilots vinyl, whatever. That's the name of a hidden track. So it was the album Purple that I had, but
okay.
And he was saying like, and I totally agree. Like kids today are not going to understand the coolness of hidden tracks.
Right.
Is there any, whether you like the song or the way that you found it, were there any that stood out to you that you really liked when you were a kid?
The hidden track on Offspring's Smash.
Okay. How did you get to it?
Just naturally. Like
it was like
the
a
last
10-minute last track or something?
Yeah. And like the last song finishes, and then after the song is finished, you don't really think about it. And then all of a sudden, that hidden track kicks in.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? This is awesome.
I think my favorite one ever is a song called Pigs from A$AP Rock. It's on his 2009 or 2007 album called None Shall Pass. One of the best rap albums of all time. It's not on the vinyl because it ran out of space, kind of a thing. I think my favorite one ever, though, and it is because I found it organically, no one told me about it, is it was a Less Than Jake album that I bought. I don't really care for Less Than Jake now, but 12, 13. I tried rewinding the first track of the album because you shouldn't be able to rewind past zero, but it worked, and there was a hidden song if you rewound the first track. So I felt like, I don't know if I was that excited since I found World 7 with the whistle and Legend of Zelda like on my own. I was like, holy shit, that worked. That was awesome. Definitely my favorite. My favorite one is that Less Than Jake song. It was, and it even might have been a joke. I don't even remember what it was, but I just remember on that CD. And you could only do it with CDs for the most part. Mm-hmm. Like tapes, it didn't make any sense to have hidden songs. Vinyls, obviously, it doesn't make any sense. 8-tracks, it doesn't make any sense. But CDs allowed you to hide data in a really funky way that was super fun.
Man, that's awesome. I didn't know that about the Less Than Jake CD. That's cool.
I wonder if I can find the name of it. The reason that we bought, the reason I got into the lesson, which one of these? It was Losing Streak. 1996's Losing Streak from Less Than Jake. Boy, Google users really like that album. Yeah, rewind that CD. Biodome. My buddy and I had just watched Biodome.
Yes.
So we had, I didn't live too far from the mall, so we walked to the mall after watching Biodome, and we walked into whatever the music store was. I forget the name of it right off the top of my head. But they were playing Less Than Jake over the radio. We're like, oh, this is Biodome music. And my buddy found Less Than... We asked who it was. They said it was Less Than Jake. There was only one copy there. My buddy bought it. He saw it first. Like, okay, that's fine. And I made a comment like, oh, yeah, you guys are out. Like, it sucks. I wanted to buy this album, too. The guy turned around and took it out of the CD player, put it in the cassette tape, and put it in the jewel case and gave it to me for a discount. I was like, all right, thanks, man.
Dude, that's awesome.
He's like, oh, you want this? Great. Yeah, I'll sell it to you. Very cool. Yeah, Less Than Jake's a losing streak. Yeah, so thanks, Tecmo Balls. Very cool. It was really nice hearing also like Kevin commenting to us on Twitter. To having people like outside of YouTube comments chatting with us about the episode is super gratifying and fun. So thank you for stroking our egos there. So, yeah. All right, Dustin, are we featuring YouTube or are we going to do some trivia?
Ooh, let's do trivia first.
Trivia, okay.
Trivia.
All right, Dustin. In the 1996 survival horror game Resident Evil, protagonists Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine work for Raccoon City's STARS team. What does STARS stand for?
Woo! Special Tactics and Rescue Squad.
No.
No? What is it? Hold on.
I'm going to give you another try.
Hold on.
I will give you several guesses until you get it. Obviously, it's not totally right.
What the hell is it then?
Say it again.
Special Tactics and Rescue. Special Tactics and Reconnaissance? Hell, I don't know. What is it?
You're going to be mad.
Special.
You're like really close, but it's not squad. Give you a hint there.
Special Tactics and Rescue. Something with S. What?
Service.
Ah. Special Tactics and Rescue Service. That's fine. That's an honest mistake. I'll take that loss.
That breaks my heart. So close. I want to give you half a point. I'm not, but I want to.
No, that was incorrect. That was an incorrect answer.
Oh, it breaks my heart that Resident Evil. It breaks my heart you were so close. I feel like it was semantics, you know?
No, if I was a super fan, I would have got it first try.
That's okay. All right. Well, maybe not. I was listening to Frame Trap, the Easy Allies podcast, and they had this dude I've never heard of on YouTube that's got 1 million subscribers, and they spent like 2 hours talking about Mortal Kombat before they actually did like the show, or just fighting games in general. And they had this this mini game that they put in there where it was essentially, hey, can you name all the characters in Mortal Kombat 1? Can you name all the characters in Mortal Kombat 2?
Uh-huh.
And the guy that obviously knows all the stuff, right, kept forgetting that he didn't say Liu Kang.
Oh, man.
So he's like, you're like right there, but I can't give you any hint. Any hint I give you will make it obvious. And he's like, who am I forgetting? And then what was funny was Kyle Bossman, when it was his turn. Okay, so this Maximilian guy or whatever also struggled and forgot Liu Kang when he was doing MK2. Mm-hmm. Like they knew all these like little detailed nuanced things, right? And Kyle Bossman had the exact same hiccup, but with Johnny Cage instead of Liu Kang. Like forgot Johnny Cage both times, and it was just So I don't totally fault you. It's the only reason I bring it up. It's hard on the spot with a list, but
Service. See, now I'll never forget
you'll
that.
never forget it.
I will be 87 years old, and I'll remember Special Tactics and Rescue Service.
The thing I feel bad about is you'll be 80 years old and you'll get that like nostalgic like bit of embarrassment. Like, oh, why did I say that to her 25 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, oh, that joke did not land, kind of a thing. You'll be like, services. She'll be like, do you want to change your deadpan or bedpan? You'll be like, no, it's services, not squad. So, good effort, Dustin. Very close, but yeah, bar trivia, they would not have given you that.
Yeah. There's right and there's wrong, and that was wrong.
That was, yep. Oh my gosh, look how mature Dustin is. This is why you tune into Classic League. So, yeah.
When the stream's over, I'm going to flip this desk.
That's But I appreciate you waiting till the stream is over, because
right.
you're being thoughtful. You know that my editing would suck at that point. So
that's right, exactly.
So thank you. But yeah, good guess on the trivia side. Next Resident Evil one, I'm sure you will get. I do gotta say, this video game quiz deck, excellent questions.
Yeah,
these are great. Way better than any that where I've Googled like trivia for different on the spot shows, like when we had Retro League guys on.
Yeah, we need to email the company and say like, hey, you guys did awesome.
Yeah, Yep, that's a good idea.
Right now, I'll call them.
Maybe they will hook us up with some prototypes or whatnot, or maybe we can organize a game show where I can host because I will stink, but maybe I can put you versus Eric versus Damez or something.
Ooh,
all right, it'd be fun.
Man.
I'll do the Jeopardy setup. It'd be fun.
What is Special Tactics and Rescue Service?
Yeah. I struggle with that. The Jeopardy giving the answer. So, okay, Dustin, although you failed, you can lick your wounds by talking about the YouTube channel of the week.
YouTube channel of the week. Week. We're going to feature this week Punk Rock MBA. He is a YouTuber who talks about music. It's not like a comedic review either. He actually like talks history. And the video that I selected was What Killed Nu Metal.
I've had this video suggested to me by the YouTube algorithm, so I'm excited to actually try this one.
It's pretty good. It goes through like Korn and Deftones and like the rise and fall of Limp Bizkit.
Deftones still put out great stuff. Look what I got in the mail this week, actually.
Oh man,
Deftones. Have you listened to any of the Deftones stuff over the last decade? Their newer stuff. Excellent. Like, what's funny about Deftones is I remember telling my brother, like, before White Pony came out, I'm like, they're gonna sell out. It's gonna suck. I heard Change of the House of Flies. It just did not seem like a Deftones song, and for some reason, I always assume I'm not gonna like a new album from them. And I have liked not every song, but I really liked every album that they've put out since White Pony. And White Pony ended up being easily, like, no questions, that's a top 10 album of my lifetime. Yeah. And I was telling my brother before it came out how much trash it was going to be and how there's no way they can keep up with it. And then here I am. They came out with an album just a year or two ago, and I was like, this is awesome. I love them. So, yeah. But Deftones were new metal. They got the rippity raps in some of their songs. But yeah, so give me a little bit of a spoiler. Did he blame Limp Bizkit? Is that what killed it? Or give us a taste. What's an interesting factoid or something that
what killed him? I think he credited like the rise of like highly produced hip hop and EDM.
Oh, where you didn't need an actual musician, you could just.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say it that way. Like someone playing like a physical instrument, you could, like, you can make fun of Skrillex, but I'm sorry, he's a very talented musician.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, so
One of my favorite Dan Reichert moments was he called Skrillex not a musician. He's like, he's not a musician. He just does stuff on a computer.
yeah,
And somebody wrote in and said, like, Skrillex is totally a musician. He used to play guitar in a band. And Dan Reichert goes, oh, okay, so he was a musician.
yeah.
Oh, it was great.
So funny.
Just completely deadpan, throwing shade. I love it.
Yeah. Like he feels like a good extreme example. Like,
Yeah.
computers, as it turns out, are incredibly musical tools, and you do have to be musically inclined in order to make good music with. Just because you can't play a physical instrument doesn't mean that you're not a musician with your computer. So I didn't mean it to come across that way. I just meant actually, I can understand the move away when you have an entire studio that one person can produce everything versus needing an entire band. I can see that making a huge impact. That's cool. I love that stuff. And I still like, I mean, I just bought Deftones. Like, there's still some quote unquote new metal that I still like it. It's something that I hate, but we were in high school then, man. Like, that was good shit.
Yeah.
Like, those really intense moments tied to a lot of that stuff.
Anytime I heard something and I was like, I've never heard anything that sounds like that before. That was like life-changing moments. And
yeah, absolutely. And you know, obviously Aerosmith and Run DMC had a great proof of concept. You know, Walk This Way.
Yeah.
It was a really fun song. It's amazing that it took as long as it did for it to really turn into its own genre. But you know, there's definitely some Linkin Park songs I really like. I really liked 311. I liked 311 so much I burnt myself. I can't listen to 311 now, but it's because it's my own fault. I really burnt myself out on it. So it's kind of what it is, you know. Good old new metal. How stupid.
every Halloween, instead of misdirected hostility, I always get Paranormal Activity. That's what you got, G. In my head.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's not SA. That's Nick Hexum there. But you actually, that was a good little. That was nice, man. You really got the 311 inflection down there, man. That was impressive.
Thank you.
What was the first? God, what was it called? Like Twisted? Oh my gosh. So the first track off of Life is Peachy from Korn. I don't like Korn, but the first song off Life is Peachy was
Twist.
like a minute long. Was it Twisted?
Yeah.
Twist. Oh, Twist. Okay. No, Twist was like a real song though, wasn't it?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So my buddy Pete and I, like one Halloween, decked out his garage and to try to scare kids, and we just had that song playing on repeat because it had such scary tones. We actually had a few kids that just skipped. You could see them walk up the driveway and like nope. We also we felt really bad about doing this, but there were these 3 kids that we chased them like we were gonna steal their candy, and they really were like scared that these bullies were coming after them. And at one point, like you could see this one kid getting like really shakingly scared. We're like, oh my god, we're sorry, we were kidding. Halloween got the best of us. Like, enjoy your time. We're not stealing your candy. Sorry. But we did have a couple of kids that were too scared to come into the garage. You know, we had the strobe lights and the webs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Twist or whatever it was. Yeah, it was our super scary song. So yeah, that's my life with new metal. Cool. So yeah, the Punk Rock MBA. Definitely go check his stuff out and find out what killed new metal. Great. Well, Dustin, what's your death count in Sekiro? Shadows Die Twice.
It's much less frequent than it used to be, but I've lost count.
I'll be curious. I've heard not Zarek had mentioned last week on the cast that it gets harder or it gets unfair. He said as the game went on, with the teleporting thing that you had experienced, and I've heard other people say that late game it breaks down a certain way. So I'm really curious to see if you experienced that or not. Well, I heard some people say that you just are keep hitting right trigger. Like eventually stealth becomes, or dodging, not stealth, dodging becomes ineffective. You eventually can get powerful enough where it's all about not getting hit or just being aggressive, where people were like, oh, when I was trying to speed run it, I did like way better. So like being hyper aggressive, it sounded like bother people. I couldn't see that bothering you that much. Like if you leveled to that point and you felt like you earned that right to...
I'm getting there. I'm getting to where I am more aggressive. I'm starting to learn the controls. I'm not fighting them as much anymore.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was a big thing last week that you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely... Because I was, like I said, I was just so used to Souls. And in Souls, I am much more of a reactionary than kind of going more aggressive. But I've really put that aside and like try to go after people and deflect more and do less dodging, and yeah, that's starting to help out.
Now the guy that was complaining about it, it was that same Maximilian guy from Frame Trap. Dark Souls 3 is his favorite of all anything that From Software has done. And it was funny when he said it that way, it made me more interested in Sekiro, because it's like, oh, I earned the right to play aggressively. That's how I like to play games.
Yeah.
So that actually fits my style. So it was very interesting that his complaint perked up my ears. Like, maybe I do need to put that on the wish list. Maybe I should give this one a try. I watched you stream on Twitch, and I really liked the mobility that you had. I really enjoyed watching the way that you almost... It's almost like when you kite in Diablo, where you kind of gather up everybody. Now, you weren't gathering a lot of people, but you could manipulate the enemies to follow you a certain way so that you could attack them. So there was one moment where a guy clearly got your attention while you were crouching in the grass, but you knew exactly how to creep just by him the right way to get him from behind, even though... So it felt like a smarter scenario than what you get with like Assassin's Creed or what I had with Shadow of War or Shadows of Mordor, where it was if you were just completely invisible. Like he still had a sense that you were there, but you were able to trick him into getting into this position that you wanted in the stealth grass. But if you wouldn't have moved, he would have got you.
Yeah.
It was really elegant to watch. Like, oh my gosh, you probably didn't even notice it, but it was really impressive on my end. Like for you, it was probably just really intuitive, but I liked it. Like I thought it looked really neat. That's the kind of stuff that I might actually enjoy. So
it's like 3D Ninja Bionic Commando.
Oh, Bionic Commando. Oh, so bullshit just drops in your head, so you can't progress.
I mean, sometimes. Yeah.
Sold.
I was walking through this. I had just got inside this castle, and I was dealing with some enemies, and all of a sudden, this enormous bull with flaming horns started attacking me.
Okay, seems fun. Seems fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess now that you are, oh, hey, we have Kazlab in chat. He says, so that Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer, thoughts? This should be on demand on YouTube. You can scrub back. We talked about it for a good while. The Cliff Notes, the TLDR, we're not outraged by it. It seems totally fine.
Yeah, I'm going to take my kid to it. I know my nephews are going to go to it. Like, yeah.
I probably won't pay to see it, but eventually it's going to be on Hulu or Netflix or HBO, or there's going to be some way that it's going to be out there. So, Kazlab asks, can I confirm midnight screening attendance? If his son was older, yes.
Yeah.
She was in 7th grade for sure. Yeah, I really enjoyed we enjoyed the internet freak out over it. It was super fun.
Yes. It's already worth the price of admission.
Yeah, I guess just to reiterate it again, it was. I expected it to be so bad that when I watched the trailer, I'm like, this seems totally fine. Like, yeah, they threw a lot of lore or Sonic details out of the window, but whatever. Like, maybe it's because we just are fine with Sonic. We don't like care either way.
Yeah, I'm pretty indifferent.
Yeah,
like I like the like the '90s marketing side of Sonic mostly.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely get behind that. He also says, wait till next year for Illumitoons Mario movie. I don't know what Illumitoons is, but I'm guessing that's like a style. Is Illumitoons like equivalent to what they did with the Thundercats that pissed everybody off?
I don't know. I've never heard of Illumitoons. Was this supposed to be Illumination?
Illumitoons seems creator Despicable Me. Okay. And sing. Ooh. Like, you know what? Mario's got such good music. I'll let them do a Mario movie if they put lyrics to the Mario themes, and if they bring in Mario 2. If they put Mario 2 music in it and they put words to it, I'm on board. I'll do it.
I'll be there if they started with the Mario rap from the Super Show.
Okay. Plumbing's again. Oh my God! Hold on. Come on. What's the first line? We can get through this.
Mario Brothers. Plumbing's a game. Found a secret warp zone while we're working on the drain. Lend the princess a hand in the mushroom land.
Something tell me you tripped on the double. Here it is. I guess I don't know it. He says that movie was just an hour and a half of gibberish. Yes, I'm not disagreeing. I didn't hate it. I just felt that when I remember being a kid and like all the movies were done that way, you know, even Ninja Turtles was more like the comics than the cartoons. Since I didn't know about the comics, it just seemed like movies had to make it, had to change everything. I don't know. It seemed the norm to have the Mario Brothers the way that it was. To have the giant fungus instead of little mushrooms, and to have the bomb as a little wind-up walker instead of just like a bomb that you'd pull out of the ground. To have like the super jump be boots. It just was like, okay, it's what they're gonna do. They have to have the lizard look correct, or the dinosaur or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't mind that it was like gibberish like that. It just seemed like it couldn't ever be true because it's not a cartoon. They had us trained well that they really could get away with whatever they wanted as long as the name was correct.
Yeah.
You know, I liked, speaking of Mario or Turtles too, Toka and Razor. I still liked the movie even though it was bullshit, generic Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah. That was a huge disappointment. But
and even when I was a kid, I hated Vanilla Ice and still liked that movie.
Right? Yeah. And Ernie Reyes Jr. is awesome.
But maybe that's what it was. Is he's just the best.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on the podcast sometime. Seriously, he might. He does. Yeah. He does conventions and stuff. I'll if I brought him on, I would only want to talk about Pool Hall Junkies. You ever seen that movie? Yeah. I love that movie. Awesome. It's so fun. Ricky Schroeder is the bad guy, and Chaz Palminteri's excellent in it. Oh, Michael Rosenbaum that was Lex Luthor in Smallville. He's in it. What a fun cast! A good movie. Christopher Walken's in it.
Yeah.
What a great cast. Kaz Lab asked if we watched TMNT 2014 and its sequel. I watched both. I actually liked the second one more. The Shadows. Into the Shadows or Out of the Shadows, whatever it was called, because it had Bebop and Rocksteady.
The Michael Bay movies.
Yeah.
I forgot about those. I saw the first one. It was okay. I thought it was the Spider-Man. It was the Amazing Spider-Man story.
Yeah, yes. They did dumb stuff, like they were April's pets. They were gonna be
Yeah.
like space ninjas for a while.
Yeah,
Uh,
but they did include the line, "I'm tonight I dine on turtle soup."
yeah.
So 2 thumbs up from me.
So that's a great callback, great reference. They were bad. They deserve the ratings they got, but I saw the credits roll, so I couldn't have hated them that much.
Yeah,
I didn't like the way that they looked that much, but
I don't
whatever.
know what the hell they were thinking casting Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo. That's like one of the most odd casting choices I've
Yeah, they really
been
should
able
have
to
just
ever.
had Corey Feldman do all of them. He just sounds like a Ninja Turtle. He just has that.
They should have got Cam Clark to do Leonardo.
Who?
Cam Clark.
Who's that? I apologize.
He is the guy who did Leonardo in the cartoon.
Oh, okay. No, didn't he not in the Michael Bay ones? Didn't he do like Raph or somebody in the? He's definitely played other turtles in other iterations.
Probably.
I'm positive of it. I
He
just
was also
I forget
Liquid
where.
Snake in Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. Always. If you worked in Metal Gear, you must be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
He says it's better than
True
Jason
story.
Biggs cast as Leonardo. Jason Biggs was Leonardo? Jesus Christ.
Is that the pie guy?
Yeah. Weird.
That's a weird choice.
I didn't know it, so he must not have been that offensive to me. Let's be honest. It should have been Corey Feldman and Ernie Reyes doing all of it.
Yeah.
You
There
know.
we go.
So yeah, but Sekiro.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, it says in the Nickelodeon cartoon he was voicing him. The Nickelodeon cartoon's
Oh.
actually pretty decent. You ever watched it?
Mm-mm.
It's good. Oh, my mom tried to have my niece, who's like 1. She was crying. My brother and his wife were gone. My parents were watching the little baby, so she was crying. So my mom tried to put DuckTales on, but it was the new DuckTales, and she was pissed. She's like, I'm like, oh really? Because I heard it was good. She's like, it's dark and scary. I'm like, oh, that's why people liked it, because I heard adults critiquing it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm like, but you should just let her watch it.
Yeah.
So,
You guys watching Leaving Neverland?
oh, I did. That's brutal. We're not talking about Michael Jackson's pedophilia on our podcast.
Oh.
That's that.
Oh, Neverland.
Yeah, it's that show from. It's that like 4-hour 2-part documentary. The one
Oh,
guy I remembered from, I was like, oh my god, that guy's really familiar. I was like, wasn't he like an MTV guy or something? And sure enough, yeah, like a few minutes later, they showed him. He was the NSYNC choreographer and did like reality show stuff on MTV. And like they
Huh.
were like kids in commercials and stuff. And all right, moving on. If you don't have a strong stomach, don't watch Leaving Neverland. It's tough.
Man.
Wade Robinson or Robson, yeah, yeah. Ugh. Ugh. Like it's one of those things that like sticks with you. Like after you
Yeah.
watch it, you're like, oh, I don't know about that. So, I love Game of Thrones, but we're not talking about Game of Thrones here.
I've never seen a single episode.
Hey, good. So save up and watch it all. It really is excellent. I'm serious. It's great. So, you've been listening to Hugh?
Yeah. More Retro Game Club. I'm on episode 5, I think.
You're almost caught up.
So yeah, a couple more episodes and we'll be done.
Not done, just current.
I mean, yes. Yes. Nope. After 7, I'm done. No more. Unsubscribe.
How are we going to get him on our show if we're doing that kind of crap? I really dig. I know we've said it before. I really dig the technical stuff they talk about. Since I'm sure you've heard the Genesis programming discussions that they've had, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to retrogameclub.net. It's our good friend Hugh Johnson and his new co-host Rob doing a whole new podcast. It's great. I would highly recommend it. They just put our new episode today. Listened to it while I was at work. It was great.
Awesome.
So, all right. Yeah, have you been playing anything else, or Sekiro pretty much been it for you?
I've actually been playing Castlevania The Adventure.
Why?
I was going to play through... So, the 50th Konami Anniversary Collection, Castlevania Collection?
Yeah.
I own all those games, so I was going to play through them leading up to the release of that.
Okay, I thought you were trying to put together a retrospective of why Konami sucks ass for putting this port on that collection.
Yeah, that game is bad.
That's why I'm surprised that you were playing it.
I like it because it's Castlevania, and Kim bought it for me.
Oh, okay. Double sentimental. That's fair.
Yeah, but it's a bad game.
So what's your method? Are you using like a Superboy or something?
Yeah, I'm playing it on my Game Boy player through my GameCube, which is hooked up with the GCHD, so I'm playing through HDMI.
That's rad. Very cool. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a slow, lethargic game, but how does the response feel to it? I mean, as far as like latency or lag, because you have it going through several chains. You know what I mean?
It's actually super playable. Like, it's not
cool.
bad at all. The only real bad part is the actual controls.
But that's not because of your setup. That's just
correct. Yeah, it's just the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can't mix animations. Like, if you
wait, like, so the jump snap whip technique is like not allowed in the game?
You can jump and whip, but if you want to duck and then whip, you have to make sure that you duck first and then whip. If you hit boom boom, then you will either whip and not duck, or you will duck and not whip.
Okay. That is a bummer. That's corrected in 2 though, isn't it?
2 is much better, yeah.
Okay. Oh, KazLab asks if we think VR is dead. I get it. Would you rather watch Leaving Neverland or Two Girls, One Cup? I think that's a great question. That's a great comparison because I felt gross after watching each of those. Like, I wish I wouldn't have seen that, but I will say Two Girls, One Cup because it's more of a Band-Aid. Like, it's only a minute or 2 long, so you can like get it over with. Like, to listen to dudes like talk about getting totally emotionally manipulated for sexual acts for 4 hours is really rough, but it's really well made. It's so you do want to see like how it played out, but it's brutal.
Yeah.
By that I meant Two Girls, One Cup on repeat for 4 hours. Still might go with that because at least I know it's on its way. You might eventually maybe get numb. I'm going to opt out of both those. Let me chew on a bullet.
Yeah. I've never seen either. I think I'll keep that.
I would recommend keeping it that way. Yeah. I did put Thriller at the back of my vinyl collection.
Oh. I can't watch that because that's going to ruin my favorite Halloween song.
See, the thing is, like, I still love a lot of Michael Jackson songs. Like, a lot. So... It's one of those things. We've talked about it before on the podcast plenty of times, though, that, you know, shitty game developers or artists that do shitty things, or artists that just disagree with you politically for whatever reason, or they do something that really makes you mad. I think you and I tend to have a pretty decent ability to remove the artist from the actual art created, while a lot of people do not. I told you that I was going to have a hard time watching Baby Driver after the Kevin Spacey stuff. Watched Baby Driver, loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Gladly watch Baby Driver again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's hard for some people to do that, but I think you and I are lucky enough to not have it, because you have so many good memories with Thriller, you know, as part of your Halloween thing or whatnot. Yeah. Like, yeah, that might taint it a little bit, but you have other memories associated with that piece of art that have nothing to do with the creator and never did have anything to do with the creator.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, cool. You been messing around with anything else?
No, that's it.
Good deal. I finally played video games. Yay. Um,
Hey,
so I got unstuck in Blaster Master Zero 2.
okay.
There was a big patch, and Dustin, I want to say that the patch fixed the problem, and it was my feedback that caused the patch.
Yes.
I think I was dumb.
Okay.
If you stand on a save spot, you can warp the vehicle to you.
Ah.
They definitely covered that, but I thought that I needed to have so there's another mechanic where you can let the frog take control of the vehicle. See, so you can be out of the vehicle and you're the little guy somewhere in the level.
Mm-hmm.
But you can then control the vehicle. So I thought I needed to control the vehicle to then get it to go through the door so then I could find myself.
Yeah.
Both spiritually and actually. And they there was a save spot. I stepped on it, and as soon as I was on it, there was a little flash that showed the press X prompt. And as soon as I did it, the vehicle popped up. I'm like, son of a... All right. I'm going to take the L on that one. That's embarrassing. But that game is still really damn hard. Super fun, super great. I will get to the credits, but man, is it tough. There was a free demo, I think it's still there, with Mario Tennis Aces. And it's basically just a PvP thing. So you can play with the special moves. You can play just a straight up, more traditional, like the rules of Mario 64, for example. Mm-hmm. And you play these little mini tournaments. I won one. I was very proud of myself. For free, included, not free, included in the online, Nintendo Online. It was great. It didn't make me want to purchase the full game, but it was really great to get to experience some Mario Tennis Aces. I did start my trek to find the true ending of Doki Doki Panic. Oh yeah, just by the way, no, I don't think VR is dead. Sorry, I'll answer your question.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, no, I think VR is gonna.
I think it's gonna continue to keep going.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna turn into holodecks.
Yeah, I mean that we're to the cusp where like shit feels actually real. So
yeah,
I mean, PlayStation sold 4 million of those headsets. It's not like it's not awesome. It's not a flop, you know. But then so I started my quest to find the true ending of Doki Doki Panic. I thought the game saved after you beat a level or a stage. It does not. You have to die and get to a game over screen to save, or you have to beat the entire game for it to save as that character. So what I need to do, so for this quest, for anybody that didn't hear the last episode, I need to beat Doki Doki Panic, which is Mario 2, Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES, with every single character all the way through. Every character has to beat every stage and war, and then you get a special ending. So I beat it through with the equivalent of Mario, but it was like, I don't know, 3 o'clock, like 2:30, and I thought, oh, my friends are going to be over here before we go to the comedy show, like 4:30. I got plenty of time. It takes me 45 minutes to beat Mario 2. I'll bust out the first leg of this, no problem. Well, when you don't warp, it takes a little longer than 45 minutes, and so I stopped after level 5 and said, all right, I'm done. I've got my progress saved. I'll just go through it. I'll just continue where I left off. Well, that was not the case. So that stream is now called Part 0, and I had to go online to figure out how to save. I finally figured it out. I was wondering, like, maybe I had a bootleg version, because when I play the game, it's hard to there's no erase the save files option in the game. So you have to do like a hack to get it to erase. And my floppy disk had everything erased. So I thought, oh, maybe I got a bootleg and maybe it won't write to this particular disc. Maybe it was one of those discs in like a kiosk, one of those that rewrite, and maybe the save doesn't work in those. I don't know. I was just doing it wrong. So luckily I confirmed. I played through it, beat Wart. It took me an hour and a half to play through it once. So cool. I'm hoping that the next playthroughs will be an hour and a half or less. And eventually I'll get through it to find out what the heck this ending is all about. So yeah, let's see here. Kaz Lab says, now Fez and the other mediocre games are created. I was talking, he's mad about Phil Fish for something. So, oh well.
What are Phil's up to?
Probably being grumpy. Threatening to kill himself. What?
Getting a diagnosis, hopefully.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully he then participates with what is needed after the diagnosis. But yeah, so I lost my progress in Doki Doki Panic. Had to play it again, but that, is what it is. I figured it all out, and I will eventually get to that true ending, which will be cool. Yeah, and then lastly, I played Nier Automata. I could not resist buying the game after the Famitsu article that we covered last week, with it being the number 3 game according to their fans over the last 20 years. I got it for $24 off one of those gray area sites where it's like a CD key site, like a Green Man Gaming kind of a thing. I think the one I got it from was DL Gamer or something like that. Yeah. Which I thought DL Gamer was like the user that submitted it on like the Woot type forum. Like, not that it was the platform. I was like, okay, DL Gamer, thanks for being an asshole and not posting where it's $24. No, it was $24 at DL Gamer. No, Kaz Lab, I did not play the first Nier, but I do remember Mark from Classic Game Room loving the game and wondering why it was getting mediocre review scores. So after this, I might go back out of curiosity to play it. It was not at all what I was expecting, and I've played a little more than the first hour of it. Maybe I played about an hour and a half. Ear to ear smile, man. You want to talk about a video game? Like, it is a video game first. It just, and on the fly, I guess as a slight spoiler, the gameplay mechanics, it changes genre of games on the fly on you.
Sweet.
In a great way. It just, you're going from like Gradius to Smash TV to Bayonetta. Like,
that's cool.
Okay, this is amazing. It has this really beautiful like orchestral score, so I'm very interested to see how the music changes. The voice acting is really good. There's this hub that you go to that's obviously a 2001 Space Odyssey reference. You remember the scene where the guy is like jogging in that like circle and he's running and punching, but in that like really goofy like 60s or 70s workout way that's like, you're not like that's not really helping you. You realize that, right? But it kind of goes in that sort of a like a little hub world that you go to. The thing that really sucked was I did lose progress because there's no autosave. You have to use save points.
Okay.
I assumed there was autosaving. No, there's not. But that's okay. I learned the hard way, losing like 15 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah.
So not a big loss or anything like that. But holy smokes, man. This is the first hour and change is A+. It just
cool.
It's absolutely excellent. I can see why it has retained its value even though it's almost 2 years old. The Game of the Year edition is $40. I bought just the traditional key for the 24. I did not get the Game of the Year edition. I'm not much of a DLC guy. I don't think that I'm going to be disappointed not getting the, full experience I think I'll live. Holy shit, dude. It is super fun. Like, what a great game so far.
That's awesome. I love it.
Very excited. Platinum really pulled out all the stops on this one. Also, Kaz Labs asking, speaking of Nier Automata, or which Nier Automata came out the same time as Persona 5. Now, I've never played any Persona games, let alone 5. You ever played any of them?
I don't think so. I played some of the Shin Megami Tensei games, but not Persona.
Yeah, Persona is one of those games where it sounds like people love it that play it. I've just never given any of them a chance. I just hear the 80 to 100 hours.
That's exactly what it sounds like a massive time sink.
And I hear like high school. I'm serious. Like, those are the reasons I haven't tried it. I hear high school, which I don't want to relate to, and I hear an ungodly amount of time.
Although it's going to be Japanese high school, so
my wildest fantasies. No, I have no idea like why I said that. It's girls in Japan wear the outfits or whatever. Like, that's where that joke came from. Just to give you context. So, anyways, Nier Automata is like so far like awesome, and I'm super glad to be unstuck from Blaster Master to get back on track. It's brutal, man. That game's hard. That game's really hard. They did not mess around with upping the difficulty, but I liked the easy Blaster Master 0. So this 2 is like, it's getting to me. So, all right, cool. Well, we didn't get any emails this week other than someone from Disney wanting us to buy games. Okay, sure. Not going to do that. I was like, oh, someone from Disney sent us a code. Like, that's cool. Like, their emails at Disney.com. But we're just on some PR list. Damn. I was like, shit. That would have been totally fun to... I don't know, shit, I'll play some Epic Mickey too. Even though I hated Epic Mickey. Like, I thought you were giving something away. Cool. Well, Dustin, we didn't get any emails, but shout out to Tecmo Balls for getting a hold of us on Instagram and talking about Stone Temple Pilots Purple. What was neat, and also getting us to talk about hidden tracks. Like, very fun discussion, so thanks, man. I appreciate it. And, man, our latency must be really low. Like, the second I'm saying something, Kaz is responding. This is crazy. It feels like a 2-second delay. I guess not overclocking my machine ironically made it fast. But we do have some feedback and comments from our good buddy Dumez. So I'll read a couple of them and I'll let you take the rest.
Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Jerry Cantrell?
Yes, that's who passed away.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dumez says, I just saw Alice in Chains live in concert. It was incredible. Go to their tour now if you can. I definitely will. The reason I wanted to talk about this first is, did I mention last week? Did I talk about my niece liking Alice in Chains? Is that why this got brought up? Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, we were just talking like super bands.
Oh, okay.
And that led to like Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots and all that.
Oh, okay. I thought well, because she like flips out when everybody hums the King of the Hill theme song, but she also acts that way to Alice in Chains.
Sweet.
So I didn't remember if I mentioned that on the show or not. So yeah, my niece, who's 8 months old, like lights up like a Christmas tree when my brother starts playing Alice in Chains.
Man in the Box comes on.
I forget what it is. It's the opening track on one of the vinyls that he has. I don't know if it's Man in the Box or Rooster or what, but
Rooster, dude.
Alice in Chains is fucking awesome. It's just the end of the story. They're so good. So yeah, even though it's Jerry Cantrell's passed away, that's awesome that you got to see. Hey Vepper, good to see you, man. Very cool that you got to see Alice in Chains. And then Dumbass also says Ease 8 is really awesome. He says, I own it on Switch Physical. It doesn't matter if Nintendo strikes down the C64 Super Mario, we can still get it. So Nintendo protects their copyright, and we still get it. We both win. But Nintendo could have offered the author a free license with a promise not to profit. That way their copyright is still protected, and they're not assholes. I agree that would be great to have something like that put together as far as companies working with and having some sort of a licensing so that they can have control if it ever gets out of hand. But yeah, I think, didn't we mention that or imply, at least I intended to, that it's good that this guy did wait that long so that it is out of the bag. You know, he waited till it was done before he put it out there. That way, yeah, his stuff gets taken down, but it's out. You know, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Whereas, because I think the example was another Metroid 2 remake, they were like 90% done when they were showing it off, and then they got popped before it was finished.
Yeah.
So
they got Fisa Mead.
Yes. I guess now it's going to be Bowsered.
Yeah.
So it's still like,
even better.
Yeah, I was going to say they really upgraded. So yeah, that's it. I'll let you take the rest.
All right. If you really want to know why Final Fantasy X was trash, check out Noah Antweiler's video on it. Very entertaining. It's under his Spoony Experiment YouTube channel. I was watching a little bit of it today. Square Enix published Nier as well. Not sure who made it. It's similar, not as good as Automata. But I recommend Nier on PS3 if you haven't. It's very good.
I'll make sure to get it for PS3 then versus 360 if he recommends that particular port. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm going for convenience. I'm not hooking that thing back up.
He also says there's a new Transformers cartoon coming to Netflix, adult-oriented for us G1 fans.
I had no idea. Thumbs up.
Yeah, okay.
You know, I loved the Transformers as a kid. Never really got into the lore. Same with like G.I. Joes. It was background noise. I don't remember
the toys were awesome.
Yeah, and I guess I just don't remember the names well enough. Yeah. I loved all the toys. I could identify them, but not. Yeah, I just didn't. I was also maybe a little too young to really soak it in. You know, we were. When did G1 stop? Like 87, maybe.
It was, yeah.
And that's when they stopped making new ones. So that's when we're 5, or so we're preschool, kindergarten. Like,
yeah.
If you were into the lore, if you remember the lore, that specifically, you're lying. You just watched it more as you were like 10 as well. Kazlab says, yeah, I think Nier on 360 comes in multiple discs too. Oh yeah, because PS3 had the Blu-ray, so it had the big giant data discs, where 360 just had the DVDs. Kazlab says, I think G1 stopped after the movie in 86 when Optimus died. Oh, sorry. Spoilers. They did in the G.I. Joe movie, they were going to kill Duke and decided to magically just make him appear in the end because they had such backlash from the Transformers movie, which I think is hilarious and great. Also, I want to call out someone named Huskers fan. This dude's asking me all these like technical questions about his OSSC. I sent him a very detailed response, not even a thanks, not even a thumbs up. Fucking ungrateful internet assholes, man. Like I sat here at my computer and I went through every option and told him what I had selected. No good deed, right?
Man.
And I don't like Nebraska Cornhuskers. So it's like, the only thing worse is if he was an Ohio State fan. Then I would have been like, I would have rage quit the internet. Podcast canceled. All right, cool. Well, I think that's going to be it for feedback for the week. I think that's going to be it for the show for the week. So I want to thank everybody very much for listening. Shout out to Ben Landis for letting us use his song Through the Forest as our intro music. And shout out to Cubby, Kubbi, under Creative Commons license. We are using his song as our outro music. Also, I am listed on the thank you notes for that album, so I feel like he'll always give us a pass there. It's the only album I'm ever in the liner notes of, and ever will be in the liner notes of, but I made it to one.
That's awesome.
So I'm very excited about that. Very fun. Our RSS feed is available at our website, classicelite.com. That's classic L337. We also have the link to the RSS feed in our descriptions wherever you're getting the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like the audio version, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for the audio podcast. You can listen while you go to work and all that. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud. And every app I've tried that has a search feature, we've shown up. So we should be available in your favorite podcast app. If not, you can get that URL to add us manually to your podcast app, and everything will work great from there. On social media, we have the handle Classic Elite. That's Classic L337. So at Classic Elite on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Now, Dustin is knocking the dust off of our Twitch channel, which is cool. Now, there we are Classic_Elite. But, yeah, because Tony aped the real name for his under his personal thing. Freaking jerk. Just like he stole it for PS3 and Xbox. I tease him about it, so... But yeah, we're on Twitch. We're Classic_Elite. So please subscribe. Check us out over there. Dustin is going to be getting us up on Twitch. And he says, going to stream no live runs on Contra on Twitch. I could.
You should.
Chaos Labs, I guess, are you aware that I've done that before? That's flattering. I talk about it a lot, but who knows? First time I remember him blowing up our chat like this, so it feels like a fresh new face. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe I should try goofy runs like that on Twitch.
I still need to do a no death Castlevania run.
Yes, you do, because you were so close, heartbreakingly close.
That's my theme, my whole life. Heartbreakingly close.
That's the great debut album name.
Yes.
Becca's for Baseball, Heartbreakingly Close. That does sound like a John Fogerty album or something. So, cool. Also, if you want to support the show, we have a PayPal account that you can donate to, I guess. Just contact us at classiclead@gmail.com if you want to go that way. And Amazon Digital Games, if you use our affiliate links in the descriptions, we eventually collect pennies there that can pay for our hosting and stuff for the next year. Kazlab says, try even to attempt a complete run of Contra Hardcore. Dude, Contra Hardcore is brutal. I've never beaten it, but that's a long game.
Yeah,
it's no joke. There's also
played it.
There's also different paths. Like you get options. It's not laid out like a Castlevania way, but there are options where in between stages, someone's like some general's talking to you, and you can do one objective or another, and it sends you on a different path. So I need to look for the optimizer. It's very cool. So, all right. Well, Dustin's long and hard is a $2 steak. That's good. So yeah, Dustin's family is missing him. So we got to wrap up. I want to thank everybody very much for listening to episode 289 of the Classic Elite podcast, and we'll hopefully see everybody next week for episode 290.
Boosh. Service.
I didn't. I got the service in, so I wasn't expecting it. That's good. I was a little slow to the draw. It worked out. So, all right. That's going to be it for the stream. Kazlabs, thanks for hanging out, man. Really enjoyed the interaction. And Iceman, if you're still around, shout out, thanks. And Vepper, I know you caught us just at the very end, but thanks a lot for hanging out. Always great to see you. Hopefully, Arizona weather is not baking you right now.
I saw on Zurich's Discord, he posted a picture of a trash can, like a dumpster, and the lid was open, and it had like melted and like folded over the little bar on the back.
Shit! Oh my God. Okay, humans actually survived there. That's amazing. We're resilient. So, all right. Well, hey everybody, I'm gonna shut down the stream. Thanks again. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys next week. Later.
Peace. Peace.